Get your mics on.
Is that door closed? Call this meeting order. All stand facing the flag for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call. Rick Luther.
Present.
R.J. Donovan.
Here.
Tim Yocum here. Approval of minutes.
Motion to approve minutes with corrections as provided.
Second the motion.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Approval of claims.
Motion to approve claims.
Second the motion.
Discussion. All in. All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of payroll.
Make a motion to approve payroll.
Second the motion.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Economic development update.
Good morning.
Come on.
Morning.
Okay, so I just have a few things. May was quite a crazy month for me, both professionally and personally, but still made things happen. So for a full week, I was spent up in Muncie at the Economic Development Basic course that is put on by Ball State University. I did complete that. It was definitely some very long days. We started at 8 o'clock in the morning and didn't finish up till 6 p.m. every day, except for Friday when we completed it. But it is a course that is accredited by the International EDC, and it's the first step in becoming that certified economic developer. So finally kind of getting going on those and having that course under my belt and being able to move forward with that. I have become a member of the International EDC so that I can jump in to start taking more of those courses to move forward with that. And then continuing some of that, on this Friday, I'm having lunch with David Terrell. He's one of the instructors up at Ball State that helps with this class. And he offered to sit down and elaborate a little bit more with me being new and handling things on my own at this point to kind of help guide me of, prioritizing and moving some things forward with economic development. So moving on to some announcements. I have been having conversations with Mark Dowd. He is a representative from Senator Mike Braun's office. He will be having some time at my office on June 11th from 10 to 11 a.m. where he will be there to meet with constituents within the county. So if someone wanted to stop by and speak with him, he can. During that time, he said he usually allots about 10-15 minutes per person that comes. If there are more people than time allows, then he will set up individual meetings with them outside of the time that he would be in that office. So again, that's June 11th from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Next is keep in mind that our county fair is in 2 weeks. It is the biggest event that our county has over the course of a whole week event. Brings people from all over. My office will have a table set up there with information from the ISBDC, helping promote the county in general, maybe some aspiring entrepreneurs offering resources and things of that sort. There are fair schedules available at the office if anybody would like to get one. I can scan one in and email them to me if they want to contact me, or they can stop by and pick one up. A reminder, the ISBDC office hours, they are every single month. The second Tuesday from 9 to 11 and the fourth Monday from 11 to 3. Don't forget to call and schedule a meeting. You are welcome to stop by, but to guarantee your time while they're there, we do encourage you to call. If for some reason those specific times do not work for someone, you can call. I can make sure to connect you with either Courtney or Jared, and then you can set up your personal time with them to get those free consulting business services or business consulting services. And then lastly, I was contacted at the beginning of the month that the museums in the county are going to continue on with the bicentennial celebration. So on June 29th, there's going to be a museum trail. Details are still being worked out, but the Newport Jail Museum, the Dana Ernie Pyle Museum, and both museums with lift, both the wine and the coal museums, will be open that day. So we'll encourage people to go around all of the museums in the county and be able to visit those. I am also working with Perrysville. We might add the old Opera House into that, of encouraging people just to stop by and see the progress that they're making on that, of taking the old Opera House and turning it into their community center. So, but I need to get confirmation from them, so that's the only one that we don't. There's a little bit of liability with construction and things of that sort. Obviously, we don't want multiple people if there could be a problem there, right? So, but at this point, all of the museums will be open. So just keep an eye on the Facebook page. I'll send some information to you, Brenda. Maybe we could put on the website or something of that sort, with times and what each location is doing for that museum trail.
4-H is on the fair is also on the website.
Perfect. Okay, and the fair is also on that website, so that schedule is there. And that's all I have.
Thank you.
All right. Awesome.
Have you already had any contact with the Rise? Have they been contacting you, or has been anything going
There's
on?
been some, yeah. So they have some projects going on. A lot of that is I'm submitting the projects with the state and helping like facilitate communications with the utility partners and things of that sort, but they're handling most of the projects on their own. So updates on projects and things like that, I would encourage getting from Jeff as to where status is on those.
Yeah, I'd like for them to attend at least one meeting a month, you know, to give a report, and everybody can pick up the paper, or whoever can take it from there. So.
Right. So.
If you heard anything on the I-74 corridor project?
I got some stuff yesterday I'll forward to you, just got it last night.
Yeah, Lana sent some drone pictures. Did
Yeah.
she send those?
Yeah.
Like working on some of
I'll
the
forward
marketing
those.
and things of that sort. So I have connected her. So there was a comment made, I think in our meeting at the beginning of May that we had in here, where somebody had mentioned natural gas. And so I have connected Lana with CenterPoint Energy, and I have connected her with Joink and other utilities that could be a benefit for that. I mean, if we're going to have the ditch open, we might as well do everything we can, right? So I have made those connections with her. So, you know, not just water and sewer, we're looking at all of the utilities that could be beneficial across that whole corridor. So made those connections. She's having those conversations and seeing what next steps are there.
I think we'll talk to her and have another meeting, public meeting, because last time it didn't go anywhere. The public didn't get informed. There was not enough coverage on it. And I think we need to have another open meeting with her to discuss what's going on, because it didn't get the coverage. And so we got to work on that. So.
Okay.
Speaking of that corridor too, I did read this week the Danville Area Commission or something, they're looking at doing a permit south of 74 on the Mervis ground for a big Casey's truck stop. And I think it's going to border, I think it's going to be close to the state line, I think, is from the article I was reading. So I didn't know if Lana or Aqua, because from the article I read, they need to run utilities to this new parcel as well that they're looking at.
I think it's the property that's right across state lines from Hicks's.
I think it might be, but
That'd
I
be
know
a
we
big
were talking
deal.
about taking water somewhere around there, and it may already get there if they end up approving this. I think it's Wednesday or Thursday they have a meeting to approve a zoning change.
Because that piece of property, if we get a road from Hicks property out to the interstate, and that's Mervis' property, and that's been a problem, and Mervis comes along, puts an access road in, and can grant it onto us.
Yeah, it's a big. It was supposed to be like a restaurant, a big Casey's truck stop, and then I think a dispensary of some kind too. It's going to be all inclusive, 3-stop shops. What I read.
Well,
so.
and the comment I made when I came up has been crazy both professionally and personally. So I've spent a lot of days this month of working from my computer in a hospital room with my mom. So it's been a little touchy this month. So some of those pieces, I'm a little behind on reading some of those articles, but I will definitely get a hold of Lana and we can talk about this project and see how that may play into.
That was my point. I didn't know
some of
how it
that.
might
Yeah,
play into it.
Absolutely.
I also found the area-wide water study that was done, and whenever we get a chance to meet with the water company up there, Aqua Indiana, I guess it would be. That's more futuristic than
Okay.
present, but no big hurry.
Got it. Anything else?
I sent you something too. I'm waiting on an email about this, the ambulance situation. July the 1st, there'll be quite a big, lengthy to-do about this ambulance service.
Okay.
The state's coming in. I think it's the first time ever been a regional ambulance service ever done in the state of Indiana. So there's a lot of positive things. I'm going to send it to you here in a little bit. I'm going to send it to Brett and RJ and everybody else. But July the 1st will be that is the day, July the 1st. That changeover is going to be done that day at
Okay.
midnight. So it's a big deal. A lot of good information there, but expect you guys to be a part of it. Also, I'm sending you Mark. I don't know if you're familiar with that or not. It came from Walls, she's organizing and all of it. So, it's good.
Anything else?
Thank you.
All right.
Public comment, anybody? Looks like we had a whole crowd here today. I have to see, I take a number and stand in line. There will also be another public comment at the end if someone wishes to have a public comment. New issues. Access to supplies, whole camp. You'll come and
the Kwanzaa hut at the Rise. We have, from when we had the jail construction project, a lot of the old stuff was sent out there. Desks, filing cabinets, tables, chairs, some tools, stuff like that. A lot of the stuff I don't think we're going to need. It was hung on to in case we would need it. We got obviously new desks and so on and so forth. I would like to get permission I've been trying to get it to other county offices, see if anybody wants it. I haven't had a whole lot of takers, but I would like to maybe just have the green light to put it on Facebook. Come get, we got a desk, you need a desk, come get a desk, filing cabinet, come get it. Some of the stuff we're going to keep, some of the tools and stuff like that, the more expensive stuff. I think there's a generator we're going to hang on to, stuff like that. The desk, filing cabinet, tables, we would just like to try to get rid of it so we can get out of the.
Well, I think the school just done that too, North Vermillion.
They did last
And I
week,
heard
yeah.
it was gone in like
We
30
actually went
minutes.
and got something from
Did
it.
you?
Yeah, floor cleaner. That nice floor cleaner we went and got.
Yeah. So I think that definitely works, doing something
Yeah.
like that. Just be prepared for them to be there like an hour before or even days
Right, I
before.
just want to get some good pictures and then we'll put it on our Facebook page and just say from time to this time, come get it, first come, first serve.
the proper way to do it, John.
Yeah, I just suggested that we bring it up in a public meeting so that everyone has an equal chance to get something if they want to be someone,
Okay.
if they want to get some of that stuff, that they have a
Yeah.
fair shot at it.
By agreement, I think we should authorize, these are assets of the county, but authorize the sheriff to dispose and or use the materials as he
Yeah.
sees fit.
I agree.
We're in agreement.
So we just by verbal saying we agreed and it's fine with him to do it?
Deciding those
Yeah.
aren't worth anything, and so you're giving him permission to give them away.
Okay.
And there's nothing that's worth more than $1,000 in any
That
particular
generator
one
probably
line.
is, but like I said, we're not getting rid of it, we're gonna hang on to it, so.
So everything's under 1,000,
Yeah.
so we should be able to dispose of it.
Is that the extra generator that was here and they took it across the road? Or did that disappear?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Is that your discretion?
I'll sell you one.
While you're up there, we might as well have you, we had a meeting here, how long was that, about 2
A
weeks ago?
couple weeks ago.
Do what?
A couple weeks ago, probably.
We had a meeting with Sheriff Holcamp and Clinton City Mayor and his chief of police, or who it was, and then we had Jim Meese from Park County and his sheriff, and concerns to the Park Vermillion Humane Shelter. There's been some issues there, and you want to say what you got to say about how this went with you and.
Well, we've encountered a lot of issues the last couple of years, just getting dogs in. Maybe, there's been some issues with the management as far as the way my staff was treated, our staff. And it's, not by everybody, just by one particular person. But, and then we find ourselves in a place where we don't have where to take these dogs that people are calling and complaining about. And it's kind of snowballed into really a bigger issue than what it needed to be, in my opinion. With them being closed right now, I've got to work out with Fountain County that if we do have a dog issue, or I guess a cat issue for that matter, then we have no other choice. We can take them up there and they're just going to send me a bill per dog as we go forward.
John, what comments you have on that? John was present also, I'm sorry.
The last communication I had was that they were going to schedule a meeting, because their board was under the correct number. They were going to get some more members appointed to the board and then make some decisions about what to do as far as the director and getting better representation on there.
Okay. Well, I'm working on putting a letter together, which will be approved by Jim Meese and Guilfoyle and commissioners here. I've been collecting information. One of the things I think that you remember we discussed was building on to the shelter, have a certain amount of it will be dedicated to the two counties as far as when you guys bring stuff in, and it'd be dedicated and they would be owned by.
That way we'd have pins available.
Yeah, and they can't use it for nothing else except for when you sheriffs and that and the city of Clinton. And Jim Meese has been very much in favor of that, of supporting it and paying for part of it. I did think originally that the Humane Shelter was on county property, and it's not. They have almost 2 acres there. So, but they seem pretty favorable to that. There's some other recommendations too, but I'm gonna try to put a letter together. You both got letters from Holcamp today, and you got a letter from the mayor, Clinton. I will get a letter from Park County, and then I'm gonna put a letter together, recommendations, and then I'll send it to you all and let you guys see what you think of it. But it's an issue we got to deal with, and they are a private-owned company. I mean, we don't own them, but yet I think we as a county give them $50,000 a year, and I think Park County gives them 30. Am I that pretty close?
I think it's 30.
And then Clinton City contributes in different ways. But anyway, I just want you to give you a chance to say what you had on your mind about that situation. I appreciate your help.
I felt like the meeting we had with them went fairly well.
Yeah. And it was a good meeting, have two counties together again and talking about issues and working together. That's what it's all about. So.
Well, I think, Mike, like you said, the holding pens are a big issue. I think there's a perfect scenario where this can all work out for everybody.
Absolutely.
Where the shelter works out well with the sheriff's departments, but I think it's just outgrown its current state. I think it's just too small, and I think we've got to work together. And I think like getting all these recommendations together and putting a plan in place, I think, will benefit the county. Because, I mean, like you guys having to, adopt out those puppies, I think that was a good thing you guys done, but, ultimately that's what the shelter's there for, so.
The other day, we put out a notice for membership there, and we got 40 new members already for them. We gave them to them at the meeting, so.
Good.
New membership, so.
Awesome.
I got the impression from the board they seem very willing to work with us to move forward and make things a lot better.
Yeah, well, good.
I feel good about it.
Very good.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we got some alley vacations. Michelle Norman. Come up here. Let us know. Say your name and.
Hi, I'm Michelle Norman. So basically, I came up to get a building permit, found out I had an alley in my yard. It's never been an alley since I was born, so I'm not sure, what's going on there. I do have a publication, proof of publication, running it in the paper on my phone, because she didn't mail it to me in time, so.
And this is the one that, is my understanding, your garage is on the alley, is that? Yeah. I can attest to that. I had my garage, I went to get a loan on my property and I couldn't get it because I had an alley running right through my garage, so I had to close it before I was able to do that. I think a lot of them were just platted years ago and just no one ever, adjacent landowners just agreed to shut down the alley together, and then they never followed the proper closing procedures.
Is that your property to the south here?
Yes.
Okay. Is that 71 out there?
Mm-hmm.
Around 71? I haven't seen this site.
And the property to the north on this sheet, is that yours as well? Or okay, so you own both sides of the alley, okay. Gotcha.
The problem with this is that, to me, it's poor public policy. These were platted years and years and years ago, and the reason for the platting was allow these small subdivisions and to sell these properties, to allow utilities to be accessed to the backside of these properties and to adjacent to them. The other thing is that for this to be a continuous properties, this is not just yours, but this county as a whole, if people are going to access these potential alleys, or whether improved or unimproved, doesn't allow for people to be able to turn around, so they have to be thoroughfares at that point. We might as, the way that we've been going with the county, we might as well save the county a lot of time and effort and just say we vacate all alleys. That's pretty much what we're doing so far as commissioners. I think it's a very, very bad policy to be able to do that. We're looking at these areas, especially with these small lots, aren't able to support septic systems as they are, or with a failure, there's another big problem with that as well. Eventually, sewers are going to have to go into these areas, and water, internet, basically public utilities. And as we chew these up, we're going to regret these at some point in the future, if not present, for that matter. So I think it's not good public policy. When these lots were bought, they knew that what they were buying. They knew that they were buying subdivided sections, either one or more lots together, to be able to build on these. The other aspect of this, as far as public policy goes, there should be we don't have that in our policy now, I recognize this, but we should have a recommendation from area planning if we're going to be doing some of these things. Area planning has hopefully a concept of these towns, of the county as a whole, and what the intention is as far as the comprehensive plan goes and any local plans that come along with it. Some of these towns also, at one point or time and may in the future, have town boards, if you will. I'll call them town boards because they're basically large platted areas with a fairly large potential large populations. And those town boards ought to be entering into some of these thoughts and patterns. Probably the last thing I'd like to mention is that back 2 or 3 years ago, I presented something about improved alleyways, unimproved alleyways, alleyways that are used for access, alleyways that are used for utilities, and we've never acted on any of that at this point in time. But I believe it's poor public policy to be doing these. Owners bought these lots before anything was built on them, and for the most part, there's probably some that weren't, but they were bought and sold with the understanding of those alleys were existing, or those right-of-ways.
Have you had it surveyed?
Not yet.
You know what GIS really means?
No.
Get it surveyed. I'm seriously.
Yeah,
Because when you look at these maps, you automatically assume that these points are correct.
right.
And your garage could not even be on that alley, to be truthful. I mean, until you really find out for sure, that garage might, I mean, it's showing maybe a foot at the most. The rest of it's shadow as far as the way I see it. And you might find out, if you have it surveyed or find the corner pins there, you might find out it's on your property anyway. I mean, is that the biggest problem you got with this? Because of that the building is on the alley?
Yes. It was, it had been there for years and years, and then we're just tearing it down and putting it in the same exact spot.
So you're tearing the garage down?
Yeah, we have already done that.
Oh, so the garage is not there no more?
No.
Oh,
we're
okay.
building
But you
a
can't,
new
but you
one
can't
now.
put it in the same spot if it's on county right of way. That's, okay.
So you want to build back on the same slab or something?
Same slab.
Okay.
Like I said, it might not be in the right of way.
But then if you get a survey and it is on the right of way, and we tell you no, then you've spent,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know what the survey costs, $3,000 or
yeah.
whatever. Is there any utilities going down? I mean, I assume this, I haven't been down there, I assume this alleyway is probably like most, they've been abandoned for 25 years, there's no
Yeah.
public utilities.
No.
Oh,
it's-
this is not abandoned. These are right-of-ways. That's a wrong
Alright,
term.
is there a road going through it?
No.
Is there trees going through the alley that
We have improved and unimproved.
okay,
right-of-ways.
abandoned, unimproved?
Yeah.
In my view, if I look down an alley and it's
Yeah.
all growed up with trees and there's no way to actually drive down it, then I would consider it abandoned, but unimproved, we can say unimproved.
You own the 3 lots to the north? There's 3 of them there.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, I know in the last 3 years, it's been the majority's decision to approve these these applications, or whatever you want to say, to vacate these alleys, as long as the owners own both sides of it.
Yeah.
So today, I have no issue moving forward with this alley vacation. Before us.
Ron, got any comments on that?
The statute's permissive as long as the citizen follows the path that the legislature laid down. You may vacate it if you want to.
And that's set by the state, isn't it? The IC code, whatever that was.
But we still control them.
Yeah, that's still our decision.
But you own property on both sides?
Right.
Okay. And there's no utilities down through there now?
It's just a woods.
Because I do know there are some that do have utilities, but most of them that come before us don't have any of that. They're unimproved.
What happens when these parcels are separated, some other ownership of property is about 7 years, maybe it'll be a lifetime for somebody, but lifetime still ends. The properties will eventually go to somebody else at some point in time, and now that we vacate an alley, where the current owner owns both sides maybe today, that doesn't mean that parcel can't be sold tomorrow.
It doesn't.
And so accordingly, we have now also
You-
severed the properties.
Yeah, you vacated an alley without the, I mean, like you said, if there's a plat of housing potentially, but I mean,
There's a reason that these.
What's on back behind? Is there more houses back here and this is a road that comes down?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what road that is. You access, go turn into the tavern and come back down, is it where you come back down the backside of your property?
Yeah, there's no, I mean, there's an alley between, there used to be an alley by the church, I know, but now they've kind of taken that over too. I'm not really sure.
if you had to guess when that garage that you're tearing down now, when was it built?
It's always been there since I was.
So essentially, someone 35 years ago issued someone a building permit on a county right away without
So it
doing
was my
that.
grandparents' property, and it was my dad's property, now it's my property.
Because I doubt the county would have put an alley in after a garage was built. I wouldn't think anyway.
And there's still an alley on the west side.
Yeah, so effectively, you'd probably be shutting down the east half of the alley, and then the other alley on the west side, the owners could still access.
Yeah.
And I have no problem since you own both sides of the property and still access on one side of the property, then I don't have a problem with it. And I don't think we ought to, Brittany mentioned something about letting all of them go. I don't think that would be a thing to do. Look, my understanding, if you do this, it's recorded, right, on their deed, and so it's there on, it's no, so if someone gets ready to go through there, they know it's recorded.
Oh, yeah, it means that we don't get to, it means if we want to use it in a future date, we got to buy it back or use it in a domain. So.
Yeah. I think it's a case-by-case thing. I think we've probably seen, I don't know, 10 of these in the course of 4 years, and I think we do a case-by-case, and you want to put a garage up, and you own both sides. That's my big thing is, you do that. So.
There's still access to the other properties from the other side.
Yeah.
If you have limited access to them properties, then I would really have concern with it.
Yeah.
So,
I ran into these problems in my engineering career of vacated alleys and so forth, where then we had to go back and purchase them and actually have to use eminent domain because of them.
I think
because of the properties
that's
being an
that's
issue.
good information in areas that the future advancement or there's growth going on, but they ain't gonna build no factory or do nothing major there. I mean, it's not gonna happen.
It's not necessarily a factory, it's a matter of housing, and if sewers go into these areas, then these lots become viable at that point, and water and sewer.
Okay.
Want a motion for this, Tim?
Yep.
I'll make a motion to approve alley vacation presented by Michelle Norman before us today.
I second that. Discussion. I'm not against what you're saying, Britt, but I just don't see where there's still access to it, and as far as future advancement from major things, it's not going to happen in our lifetime. I mean, I'm not trying to be negative about St. Bernice. I mean, it's just not simple, or there's going to be a major growth, so I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What are my notes? I'm burying stuff here. I think next we have Clayton Synchrony.
No, it's there's another alley.
Do we receive them?
Stuff.
We receive the second alley?
I think so. Yeah.
I didn't realize there was two.
Yeah.
Leave too much stuff around. What's next on the agenda? Let's call that.
There you go. Yeah, it's there. You can have it, I'll do it on another piece of paper.
Alley vacation, Tamara Lawless. I hope I said that right or not.
Yes.
This one doesn't have.
Hi, I'm Tamara Wallace. I was not aware it was an alleyway behind the house when I purchased it until I put a pool in and I had a pile of dirt behind there. And then I started getting sheriffs coming to my house because I was blocking an alleyway because there was an issue with someone who owned property that's no longer in that property. I just bought it, that got mad at me. So that is why I'm here. There's basically, I've contacted all the landowners. They don't even go and pick up they didn't come in for pick up their letters. I'm just trying to, I've already moved the dirt, all that's been taken care of. There's my garage, is it like to the side of the alley? Or like the alley's behind my house, my garage, my pool, and another building that they're trying to turn into an auction house. And that auction house it's gonna be your same thing, I heard you talking about the survey, it's gonna be, who knows what actual properties there against the survey, because they're all kind of close.
Can you pull that up on that GIS again?
So I am.
Because I don't have a picture of this one here.
I have the ones that,
Same neighborhood.
Yeah, that I don't have, yeah.
Huh? Square. Yep, that yellow
this
square.
is what they gave me.
The square,
So it's the alley to the west of you.
the alley on the west side of the property?
Yeah.
This is the auction house here, right?
Yes.
Yeah, to the bottom, to the south of it.
This here's the auction house? Or just your
The
house?
big long building is the
This is
auction house.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, kinda got the green roof.
So we're talking about vacating the north to south alley?
Yes.
Okay. I'm with you.
And the reason why is because your pool's on it?
No, my pool, nothing is on it. I had put some dirt, when they dug my pool, there was a pile of dirt on it. The person who owned the auction house, is upset at me because I didn't want it rezoned for a business. I don't know. All of a sudden, everything that was in the alleyway has been a problem. I came up here, because I had no idea it was an alleyway. Like, we had kept our camper parked next to our garage. I put a park pad in there. I've lived in the house for 4 years. No one's ever said a word to me.
Right.
All of a sudden, I have all these issues. Sheriff's Department says you need to go up and try to see if you can get the alley vacated so we don't have this issue anymore.
So is there
that's what I'm in
any,
the process.
it looks, I'll use the right term, it looks unimproved from the aerial map.
Oh, there's absolutely nothing there.
Is there any like power poles running down the
No.
alleyway or
There's a
anything?
drive on it.
You'll have a chance to speak.
Yeah, after she gets done.
There's a drive on it.
I guess there is right there, yeah, it is, isn't it? So what's, this, to the north here, is that a driveway that's on the
She
alleyway?
said she put her driveway.
No,
in.
that's where I used to park my
Park.
camper.
Oh, okay.
Until I realized, I was told that
It's an alleyway.
it was an alleyway. So as you can see, I have removed the camper. There's nothing there now. I have leveled the dirt out because I was waiting mainly for the weather to break, because the pool was put in at the end of the year and this came up in the middle of the winter.
Is this auction house newly built?
Excuse me?
The auction house is newly built?
No.
No, this is one that we approved so many months
I
ago.
remember we approved the permit to have the one, but I didn't know if it was new construction or something.
No, there's a building on the back of the auction house that abuts the alley. So where actually it is the alley and it's not the alley, it's the same situation. It would have to be surveyed to determine that.
So you're petitioning in this to vacate the complete alley all the
Yes.
way through? And you just own your northeast corner?
Yes, and I have contacted all the landowners because to just kind of vacate it for everybody's purposes. And I have 2 of the letters that were returned to me.
Yeah, because you're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many different adjacent landowners? 6?
3.
3?
1, 2, 3, there's 4 at least.
There's,
With the one to the south and
There was
One, two.
Michael and Carol Coons
The house I drove
that
by.
didn't pick up their letter that lived behind me. They owned all of the property up to, from one alley, and then there's another house that a Zachary Darnell, that house, he purchased the house, but no one is living there. It's currently vacant.
Okay. Just on principle, just from the high level view of it, I'm not in favor of closing any alleyway if you don't own both sides of it. Mainly because I don't know who objects to this. That's of those, say there's 8 landowners down there, or 6. I don't know who objects to it, who's in favor of it. If I had something in writing from maybe all the landowners that said, hey, we don't use, and that's just for my, that's not even saying the rest of the town, like Britton, is saying
Well,
about the.
unfortunately, one of them we can't even locate. I don't know who the person who is in the house that bought it. He's no
Yeah.
longer there. I even had the postmaster ask me if I knew where he
Yeah,
was.
but from a high level view, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I
is that-
understand.
What I would do if I was you, GIS means get it surveyed. I'd get it surveyed first and then approach it, but I don't see, especially with a business to the south or some type of development to the south, I don't see closing it down. I mean, if it don't bother your property, I mean, I'd say leave it open. That's what I'm thinking. Because you're deny access to people south of there, right? I mean, if you shut that off, then they can't use it.
Yeah, I just, from the high level view, I've just always said if you own both sides, it's much easier to do. With
Oh, I
here, you've
understand.
got all the landowners to deal with. and-
You're even trying to go on through the
Huh?
auction house, right?
Excuse me?
You're trying to close it all the way through, even to the auction
From north
house.
from Indiana, was it Indiana
Yeah,
to
I
Illinois
was
Street?
told
What's the refresh on
when
that?
that I was at a better option to vacate the entire alley versus half the
Just
alley.
part of it. Yeah.
That's what the auditor's office told me, that if you're going to do it, you're better
My
off to do
jinx.
it all the way instead of
Right.
the other way.
Yeah. I would just personally like to hear from those adjacent landowners, whether it's in a written email or some type of form of writing that they would be in favor of shutting it down or leaving it open one way or the other.
So how would it inconvenience you, we'll leave it like it is, because you're you're parking your car there? I mean,
No, that's just where I had the camper parked.
okay.
I assume that she sent these by certified mail with return
Yes, I
receipt?
have the return certified mail where they were
Just
returned to
asking.
me.
Not
Yes,
that
and I
it's-
did put the notification in the paper, and I do have the copy of that. So I've done everything that I was told to do. I would have went and got that from the landowner that is directly behind me, but unfortunately, that wasn't something I knew to get in advance.
So
Well, yeah, that's just a personal.
Yeah.
That's just a personal
I mean,
overview.
honestly, no one's ever said anything to me in 4 years that I lived there. When I came over here and talked to Penny Carpenter, she said, you're fine, because when it was brought to my attention that it was an alleyway, she goes, you're fine as long as no one complains.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, that's
someone
pretty.
complained.
That's what it is.
That's pretty.
Yeah, so if someone has complained about you using it,
Evidently, because the sheriff's office has been at my house several times.
okay, and the complaint was you had
I
stuff?
was blocking the alley with a pile of dirt.
Okay, and you moved that dirt, so
Yes, I
that,
have.
that issue's gone.
Well, that issue is gone, but that's typically where we did park our camper, which has not been parked there because didn't want to park it there and deliberately block
Block an
it,
alley,
knowing this is
right.
the situation now.
Okay.
But it had been parked there. Obviously, I wouldn't have taken the money and put gravel on there to not park it
Yeah,
there.
yeah. I
You
understand.
do
I
have,
didn't know there
The
was
thing
an
is,
alley
is
there.
that if it was to be vacated, half of it goes on
Yeah.
either side, basically,
Yeah.
so it still wouldn't allow
It would
for
still be
that.
part of it where I would be using it. I would not be using up to, I understand that, like, part of it would be this
Yeah,
and part
if
of
it's
it would be
13
the
feet,
other.
you divide
Yeah.
it with, and then the other side of that is once you vacate that, that goes back on the tax rolls as well. So, it's
Kind of immaterial, but yeah. that's
yeah, I
true.
mean it does. I mean then you will see a little bit of increase on that depending on how much. And that's why I said that's why the other landowners that is important because if they don't want that, then they would probably just
Yeah.
stand to leave it open and they still may mow the grass, but they don't have to pay for that extra 7 feet or whatever. Going down.
before making a decision, I think there's, Clayton, you want to come, you got something to say, and let him speak, and then identify yourself, please.
Thank you.
Clayton Sanquinetti. First off, I'm not mad at anybody. The pile of dirt has been there for almost a year.
So identify who you are and what,
Clayton Sanquinetti, I own the so-called soon-to-be auction house.
okay. Just want to make sure everybody knew who you was and what you represented.
Yeah. So I'm not mad at nobody, but there are utility poles that run through that alley. The reason why I needed to pile the dirt moved is because Townsend could not bring a chipper truck through the alley because I don't know if you guys ever backed up a chipper on the back of a chipper truck, it's almost impossible. So by the time they would come down and trim out the trees out of the power lines. they
Does the
would
power
have-
line run down this alley?
Yes.
So
They would
there's that.
have, they would have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
And that's what this is all about.
Yeah.
And,
So this is an alleyway that has utility then going down at
yeah,
that.
it has power poles, it has cable TV and phone line, so.
That changes everything.
So that's all I'm at. I'm not mad at nobody, never have been, but
Okay.
if the power was to fail, then
Yeah.
how would Duke Energy get their bucket trucks in? How would? and
If there's power going down through there, it's a public.
Honestly, I don't know anything about
Okay.
that.
If they've already got, it's a proven utility easement, I mean, they got utilities going down, they got power going down too, the Duke
Oh, I
Energy will
completely
always,
understand. I
yeah,
understand
yeah.
completely.
So that'd be something that
I don't think
you
you
can't
can.
act on. That's my opinion, you all can.
I
contribute.
would, yeah, that's kind of been my opinion the whole time. If there's already utilities running down, or B, if the landowner owns both sides and there's no utilities, it makes it so much easier to close or vacate one. But once those, like, that kind of plays into what Britton was saying, with those utilities, once they use them, then it's pretty hard to shut that down, because, so.
So when someone will make a motion so we get this ruled and move on? Come on, Jay, do it, let's get going.
Well, I mean, you need a motion to, deny it, I guess. I mean, that's,
I don't know if I guess I need to bring this up, I think. Just because there's utilities there, the utilities still, existing utilities still have the right of the existence of that, use of that ground, even if it was vacated.
yeah.
So by vacating it doesn't mean that they can't still service their lines and so forth. It goes against, I'm just bringing it up because I feel like I have to.
Yeah.
I'm still not in favor of any of this. I think it's still poor public policy to let these things go.
Yeah.
But anyway, I thought I needed to say that.
Yeah. Well, I mean.
That makes sense, you got public utility down through there, and it makes a whole different, to me, really.
You can't deny the public utility
you
that
can't
exists
deny.
there anyway, the right
Yeah.
to use that.
Yeah, well, I mean, oh,
I'm assuming that the landowners that we're still supposed to maintain the alley as far as, because right now we're maintaining the alley as far as keeping it mowed and all of that, is so people can actually drive back up and down it. I guess that's my biggest question.
That's up to you, if you want to maintain it or not.
No, but I mean, since it is an alleyway, it's technically you can drive up and down it.
yeah, I would say that if it's John, would that be correct? If it's if it would be a county alley, or if it was a town alley, that'd be the maintaining of that.
It's county
Yeah,
property.
it's an unimproved right-of-way, so anybody could, in theory, drive up and down. There was one instance in the past where we made an ordinance specific to one right-of-way that no one could drive up and down it, and it dealt with a neighbor basically being a nuisance to other people by driving up and down an unimproved alleyway.
Okay.
But generally speaking, people do go up and down them. They'll use it to maneuver boats into backyards, or, like he said, bringing in equipment to do construction or something.
I think this highlights back a few years ago where we need to really define those policies as to what we consider unimproved and improved, and what the uses are for those right-of-ways, if you will. Something to address in the future related to this necessarily.
So to get back to your question, it was more or less, instead of you maintaining it, is someone else going to maintain it since it's going to remain open? Like, is the county going to maintain the
Well,
right of way?
My main concern is I guess I am gonna have to, we'll have to look at getting a survey so we know exactly where.
Where the lines? Yeah,
Say it, let's go.
no, I'm just saying, like, if you're maintaining it yourself, I get that, but the same token, I guess if it's unimproved, I guess maybe the county needs to look at it and see, does it need to be improved? Does there need to be rock put down? Questions like that.
I'm just more concerned if
You don't want to go there.
I'm just,
traffic going through there.
yeah, I understand.
It's about your budget, RJ.
Out of my budget.
Let's move on this. Make the motion?
We can make a motion to deny it. I don't have my agenda. I don't know the name of. Mine's over there underneath yours, bottom right there. That one. How is your first name pronounced, I said? Tamara. I'll make a motion to deny the alley vacation by Tamara Laws presented to us today.
Second the motion.
Discussion? I think I had good discussion about these. I think that Britton has got excellent points. I think that anytime there's any chance of any development going on in that area, I think we ought to look at it differently. And I think that's Britton's used to work in that type of environment and protecting the rights of especially commercial property. So, you second it, Britton? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That's it.
Okay. Hope that gives you a little bit of clarification of why. Okay, next is Clayton Sanquinetti with CCAWVR.
Clay, we should have just had you stay up here.
Yeah. Clayton Sanquinetti with Concerned Citizens Against Wabash Valley Resources. So I'm here today to ask for a letter from the commissioners of opposition. Recently there's been some uncovering of some emails and stuff that were public information to where Nalan Gupta with Wabash Valley Resources wants to inject twice the amount as permitted in a 6-year window. So instead of, he wants to inject twice the amount a year. Instead of doing it for 12 years, he wants to do it for 6 years. So instead of the 1.2 million, no, I'm wrong. The 1.6 million metric tons, he's wanting to double that per year in that injection site.
Same amount, but in half the time.
In half the time, okay? And then there's talk that in that same letter, he's wanting to inject at their site as well. So this is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. It changes daily. And we at Concerned Citizens Against Wabash Valley Resources would like to have a letter of opposition from the commissioners so we could send it to the 6 board members, to the president, to the vice president of the company, and then to some state legislations, maybe the State House or something like that.
Wasn't there a letter already drafted to this effect?
Not in opposition.
What was, I don't remember.
I don't think
A
there-
resolution of some sort.
Yeah, I think we
Unless a
signed it.
resolution passed.
Yeah, we did a
year or two
resolution.
ago.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
we
But I don't think there's been one I know they passed a resolution, but I don't think there's been a letter yet that I've seen opposing this.
Well, we did a resolution here. And I don't
Resolution
know where it's
holds
at,
far
but we
more
did it.
greater impact than a
Didn't-
letter.
So can I get a
Yeah,
copy
year
of that
ago.
resolution to send
Yeah,
to,
we'll find
Yeah.
it.
and then all the
I need more research. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. So just the letter you're talking about now, we know you're against it, and you do know everyone that was supported that got reelected. Everyone supported the carbon sequestration, everyone got reelected. They
I
smoked
know.
me out.
I know.
And so it really
And
concerns me.
And people don't have the slightest clue, so when they put in the ADM injection wells up there, the Class 6 wells at Decatur, they've had 4,700 micro earthquakes since then, okay? We're not talking, they put like 71,000 metric tons in the 7 years or 10 years that they've done it. They're wanting to put twice that in per year and into the wells. And what happens when you have a major earthquake from that? You know, and then it's in your aquifer.
Well, Clay, the thing you're talking about with Gupta about doubling the thing in half the time, could you send that to us? Because I haven't seen that.
Yeah, and if you guys, I know some of you guys are members of a group as well. That's posted recently in the
Okay.
group. So we uncover stuff all the time.
If you want to send that to me, because I know, well, all of us, it seems like Wabash Valley sends all the commissioners, they've got our government emails and we get emails, and I'd love to just be able to send that to them and say, hey, what's your answer to the, or because I don't know.
So this letter was from Gupta to the EPA, and he's
Okay.
wanting to amend their permits,
Okay.
and without having to go through everything. So he's trying to do it all under the table, so there's nothing good to come of it. So
It sounds like you need to call someone on the federal level, especially doing the EPA. I mean, do you have anybody you're working with on the federal level?
well, I don't know how well you guys know the EPA or not, but I think they're all owned by the current politicians. So they really don't talk a whole lot about anything, when we had to force, basically ask for all the letters that were sent in by constituents about this, so.
I'd like to look at it more thoroughly, what's going on. I mean,
If you could send that to us, I would, or email it, or however you have it.
And then they're also, and this isn't in Vermillion County, but Vigo County, they are also looking at putting another injection site, and this isn't Wabash Valley Resources, this is NIPSCO generating station down in Sugar Creek Power Plant. They're wanting to store their carbon underground there too, so, I mean, it's gonna be up here at Cayuga before you know it, so.
well, I've heard that anything with smokestack going up is going to have carbon sequestration.
Yeah.
So that's not looking ahead, that could be a
But
rough place for us.
like ADM up there, they're the only 2 Class 6 wells, and they've only captured 7% of their carbon in the amount of time that they've been there. So is 7%, is that gonna make a difference? Can these people prove that, are they in business to make anhydrous or make hydrogen, or are they in business to make carbon? They're in business to make carbon because they get $85 per carbon credit, which they could turn around and sell $1,500 per credit to the highest bidder. And
That's the question I asked them. I said, are you generating waste to generate
Yeah.
revenue?
yeah, they're generating revenue.
Yeah.
I mean, it's right there. If you read the information, you've seen it. I mean,
Okay. I'd like to see more information. I mean, I've supported you guys since you always supported you, but I would like to get more information on that. So you got it in your hand, don't you?
awesome. Thank you guys for your time.
You have a
Thank
good
you.
one. Send some
Thank you for all
more
you've done.
information. Thanks for coming. Next, we're going to talk about the ambulance. Dennis, I just sent you guys a rough copy of July the 1st. We'll be asking for the council to provide a letter on this. There'll be a letter from the commissioners. I'll draft one up and you guys put in what you want, just a general letter for the press release. What's the law's first name? I forget her name.
Stephanie.
Stephanie. She's the one heading up this celebration. It's a big deal. A lot of the state officers are coming in for it. It's unique that we did this. Having this, getting rid of this county line, I hate to say it, but we're getting rid of the county line. Ambulance-wise, is a tremendous asset.
You realize we were part of Park before we became Vermillion.
Do what?
We were part of Park before we
Yeah,
became
it was.
Vermillion.
But it's good. We're doing things together, and I think any time that 2 counties can partner and do something together, it's wonderful. But what's going to happen is, if they have a call in Lyford, Clinton can respond instead of coming out of Rockville, and come straight down 36 to Hillsdale, and going back across that line is going to make it very much more efficient.
Well, I thought this was going to happen in 10 to 20 years, but 10 years plus.
Yeah.
Instead, it's here today.
Yeah.
So we have effectively cut 10 years off of the...
I sent you that information on that. Did you, Mark, did you have that quote for that other ambulance? And you sent us one, right? Is that firm number? I mean, can we take that to the council? Are we on the council for
That's
next time?
out the door, final payment, or payment, it was from the same vendor we bought the last one from.
Is the
Same
new-
brand new chassis.
Is the new one still here, or is it over there?
New one's still here.
In the garage up there?
Yeah, Julie's supposed to take possession of it pretty quick and start
Okay.
outfitting it. The last one we got for 260,000. This one is 272,884. That's with the striker
Oh,
equipment
wow.
installed. Okay.
That helps.
And again, it's $12,000 more than the last one we bought, but.
But how much the striker
this-
thing, set 60 or 70,000, isn't it?
Striker's 74, I believe.
Wow. Hard to believe them things are not expensive.
73,987. It was
You say
2,000
striker,
more
does
than
that
last.
actually lower it makes the ambulance lower so you can get in better?
No. They've moved the bed up to it. It attaches to a thing that raises the bed and puts it in the ambulance. Years in the past, people had to pick that person up, and they
Right.
were all, blah, blah, blah. You had a 4-foot tall and an 8-foot tall guy trying to do it. This allows them to just pick it up. They're loaded nice and neat. It stabilizes the bed once it's in the ambulance. It holds it in place.
I mean, it comes out and they can actually just put them on the bed and it picks them up and puts
Right.
them inside. I'd like to see that work.
But I also was talking to another company. They're 180 days out on anything we would want to buy that was equivalent to this as far as a remanufactured box with a brand-new chassis. So that's 6 months. We don't really have that time frame right now, and they were coming in at the same price with that. So they did have one used one, a 2015, but the current vendor, we could buy a 2015 from him for about $40,000, but it breaks down every other day, and
We don't want
the
that.
equipment's out of maintenance. So this is my recommendation. Again,
Okay.
that allows us to have two similar chassis, or identical chassis.
Yeah.
They're both 2024s, E450s.
And they're gas. Both
And they're
are
gas, yes. So we shouldn't deal with a lot of the problems that the 350s had or the diesels had.
Okay, that price, that's a firm price from him?
Yes.
He's gonna hold it? Is there any other cost that needs to be included in that with that going forward to council?
Well, it's gonna need signage and then outfitted, okay, as far as putting it.
What I'm saying is, if you know what that
Drug
cost
supply.
is, it probably, if we're going to the council, might as well put it in there.
It's already.
Or you're good.
Right.
I think we put in 360,000.
Yeah,
Okay,
that was the
okay.
last
Okay.
meeting.
You
we-
got, you got
Yeah.
plenty.
So, and then we have a few more things that 360 could be used to cover
Okay.
also, okay, if we can.
As long as the council says in their description, it's for,
And I have told him to hang on to this for us. If you guys agree that this is the direction you want to go, I'm going to give him a call and say, hey, we're about 95% sure, because there's other people shopping for these things too. And
what'd Julie say?
she said this
Same
is
as-
a
same
good
as the other
deal.
one
She
anyway.
approved it.
And that's a reman box or the?
It's a remanufactured box. It's a McCoy Miller box, where the last one was a Lifeline box. Yeah, she didn't have any issues with it. She said if we can get this one, it's good. So,
You guys comments?
and I sent this to you last week, so you should have had.
I checked on some of the others that were on the spreadsheet I've been sending out, and almost all those, except for the used ones, are gone. They're not available anymore. So we've gone through a generation of ambulances, and so this is one that's now available. So we're starting over, I guess, if you will.
Well-
If we don't accept this one, we're...
Yeah.
One of the questions I have is, things have changed over the years in these ambulances as far as needs. Or this new one, does it have everything updated
Yes.
to where it's current?
One of the questions, I was able to kind of dicker on the last one, and we saved a few $1,000s. So I started that ahead of I was like, I need your rock bottom dollars. This box to be updated and put on costs more money than the last box did, the Lifeline. That's the difference in price.
Do they tell you how many remounts it's been through?
You don't get that. There is a build list that's everything they did to it, and this is like 7 pages of stuff.
I think the big thing that through all this, we can establish a budget. You know, a 10-year life expectancy per ambulance. You got, it's gonna cost you 1/10 per year. Just where you can actually budget this and see where it comes
Yeah,
out.
I'd like 7 years, we should probably be looking at buying another ambulance, at least one, and then taking the one we have and maybe doing a remount or something with it to give us a second one in 12 years. This should be a standard plan
Right.
to keep us up. That's my recommendation.
One of the things that we may want to, or at least present to council if we decide to go with this, is a lease option as opposed to an outright purchase. We have a number of other expenses that we're going to be incurring for the ambulance service. The council knows our cash flow better than we do, but with that being said, if we put this on a 5-year program, then we'll be, in 5 years, we will have this one paid off, where we're not having to accumulate money at 1/10 of the rate all the way through for 2 ambulances in 10 years. Effectively, we're paying another, anyway, it's a consideration. We may also be wanting to build ambulance facilities, depending on where this might go with the potential of fire districts, fire EMS districts. We can get into some rather large expenses regardless going forward. So I think it's a consideration that council should look at. Again, they're the ones that
Can
control
you
the
include
monies.
a copy of that to us, and then we'll go to council and give that to them?
I
You already sent it to them?
I already sent that out.
Okay. But what does it come out to, what type of interest rate versus?
It's a 5%, I think. It's a lot higher than it was in 2020. It's doubled or more. But I think it's 5. Was it 5 or 6%? I'd have to look it up. Oh, it's been presented, it's gonna be presented to council again for their consideration. But if you have a strong opinion, it might be something that we wanna present also to
I think
council.
the council themselves is well versed as far as making that decision instead of us.
6%, the 6% interest rate.
Yeah. Because the council might look at it and say, we got X amount of money, we're gonna save 6% too, you know. But, good input, so.
Well, there's, the ambulance, and depending on how this is administered by Julie, the ambulance in the north most likely isn't gonna run, or hasn't been running as much as the ambulance in the south. So unless there's a swap in the ambulances to make them even or whatever, how it's managed should make a difference also. And in 10 years, the boxes will probably have to be rebuilt anyway.
Yeah, we'll let the council, give that to the council, let them see what they want to do. Some of the other things is, I was talking to the mayor the other day, Clinton City, and I think Britton's been included in some of this conversation with the fire chief maybe.
Let's stay on, can we stay on topic here first?
Sure. I'm still in ambulance, so.
On
Yeah, are you
on the
guys
ambulance,
for
Yeah.
moving
Yeah.
forward with this?
Yeah.
I'm in agreement.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay. So
We
I'll
meet
let
with
him
council
know.
Monday, right?
Right, and
Monday.
one of you will represent this as far as the financing. I can talk about the ambulance.
Is it this Monday?
Yes.
Yeah, the 10th.
How can they do it on my nights?
You work nights every council meeting.
Okay.
They should change council meeting.
Pardon?
They should change their council meeting.
Okay.
Thank you, Mark.
Now, can we
Thank you.
proceed to the next step, or are you done? You got still?
Well, I've got some more stuff, but
Go ahead.
go with where you were going.
Talk with the mayor, Clinton City mayor, and we currently have a place there. Britt's done a good job on the Board of Health. There's a place down there for the ambulance and for the people working the ambulance to live, but there's no place to house the ambulance inside a building at all. And that's one of the main things I think that we need to address, because you have stuff sitting out cold and you got chemicals in there, and you know, I don't think it's a very smart thing to do. Talking with the mayor, I talked with him the other day, and he was going to send me something. I haven't got it yet. That's why I kept checking my email. But it looks like there's a possibility that the new ambulance could be housed in the same building as the existing fire department of the city of Clinton. The rate right now, I think, is around $1,500 a month. I need more information to give you all, you know, tell you exactly what it entails. But that's a talk. It could be a little higher, a little less, but I need to get that. But that is a possibility for us to take under advisement and consider.
Well, we only have one other meeting unless we're gonna go to special meetings. We need to be moving this forward as if we're gonna change horses or change places. The Clinton talked with Chief Strom. His indication was that this is a short term, but the short term meaning, I think, 3 years,
Yeah,
not short term meaning a few
plenty of
months. Relative term there. But that being said, they do have living quarters there. I think they have 4,
You have 4 bedrooms.
4
They're
bedrooms.
going to give up 2.
of which they would accommodate the ambulance service there. So there's pluses to that. Right now, we're paying $12,314.06
Per year.
for the present location.
Per year.
Per year, yeah, not per month, per year. For the location where we're at. with
So it's
the
costing, you
next
say 12,000?
12,000.
So it costs us roughly $1,000 a month.
A little bit more than $1,000,
Okay.
$1,050, something
Okay.
like that, sure, a month. At the Ileana, where they're at now, the problem with where we're at now is that there is no cover there at this point for the ambulances or environmental controls to it anyway. So they currently plug them in, and so they sit outside, not necessarily a favorable thing for the ambulances, or the medications, or any of the equipment that's inside of it, for that matter. If we decide to go with assuming this works out with Clinton Fire, that we will need to decide what we want to do with the more than half of that building that's there that Ileana's currently occupying as far as the ambulance service goes. And there's our alternatives to that, and I meant to write those down. I did write them down, but I didn't distribute them. of what I came up with as possible alternatives. Or we would renegotiate the contract with the hospital, and at that point then we don't control who necessarily would occupy those, if anybody, occupy that space. Board of Health indicated that they could use 2 more office spaces. And I'd have to go back and look at how many others we left there, but there are some other alternatives to this as well, or some alternatives in Parlor Hall.
Clarification on that cost. You said it's roughly $1,000 a month. Is that just for the part that the ambulance had, or is that for the whole place?
That's just for what Ileana occupies.
Okay. How much is it for the whole?
The whole place is $25,416.26.
Okay, so it's roughly $2,000 a month for the whole.
Yeah, the Ileana takes up 4,900 square feet. The Board of Health takes up 4,311. The corner takes up 198.
Okay.
Then there's some commons and mechanical area.
I think it gives us a flexibility, especially in time, to find something else in, in a couple of years where it would be very favorable to do something.
There's some alternatives I've listed as to what we could possibly use space for, again, or we can renegotiate with the hospital. Right now, it's a very favorable rate. I would think the hospital would work with us, but.
Your thoughts about that building? We're doing it.
I think moving into the fire department is a very smart move right now. There is a building in Clinton, an old EMS building. I believe it would work for our needs. I don't think we have time right now to jump in and get it bought and set up. It's right across from IGA. Used to be the ambulance building for the county years ago. That'd be something to look at. I would do a 6-month or a year lease with Clinton, which would give us time to work with that property owner and see if it's something we can make happen.
We'll have to go to the council for it, but I don't see the council turning that down for a reasonable price that it is. Of course, I need a defined contract where y'all can see it, and I haven't got that yet.
But in the short term here, we don't have to buy furnishings. We don't have to maintain it. The current space that they're in doesn't really have heat and AC. They've got these portable units that don't really do a great job.
Well, they do, but it's not working correctly.
Right.
That's on the hospital.
Right. But all of those issues are done away with. The drugs in the ambulance was a very big part of the conversation between Park County and Vermilion County in doing this collaboration, because that really shortens their shelf life when they're 105 degrees and then they're 30 degrees, and then drugs aren't meant to do that. So I think moving into the Clinton Firehouse is a smart move right now, and they seem to be for it. Talking to their chief, he's for it.
Did you ever have any luck with the contractor on that raised net building?
No, I did. RJ was going to get me information, but I did find Jacobs Construction. I haven't talked to them yet. I was kind of waiting to find out what you guys got back from your inspection on the house.
I need to go up and look inside it myself.
This can be a contact I can make today even. My next thing was the furnishings and stuff we were looking at purchasing. Okay, Park County went through the list of, they're not drugs, they're needles, catheters, bandages, things that have a shelf life but aren't drugs that you could sell. What they did was, this list, which was given to us by our current vendor Ileana, has the price that they paid for a drug. They are a for-profit company, so if we just use $1, say, if they pay $1 for a drug or a bandage or a needle or whatever, Park County, because they are a non-for-profit, buys that same thing for about 50 cents on the dollar. Okay, 50 to 30% less than what he paid. So his pricing that he gave us, Ileana, has what he paid for drugs. She went through and put down what she would pay, because they go to the same vendors, they're buying from the same people, her prices that she would have for that drug. We then made a 75 cents on the dollar offer.
From her evaluation?
From the list that she gave us to Ileana to purchase, and he agreed to that. Okay? All verbal. me and him sat down at the table, ran through the list. He agreed, but if I'm gonna make an official offer, I wanted you guys to agree to this first, okay? So all of that comes to $21,661.92. That's medications, okay? And again, this is a list given to me by Park County EMS at their value, and then we took 75% of that value. So I think the county's making out good. We're not messing the current vendor. We're not shorting him really. I mean, he's getting less than he would like, obviously, but I think he's getting a good value. Then the other things we have are the furnishings for the facilities, okay? The Cayuga facility we went through, all of his prices that he gave us was what he paid for stuff new. Okay, stuff's been there 7 years, some of it's been replaced over years. Some of it is things that I wouldn't even make an offer on, like spoons, plates, not worth our time. I made an offer on all of the large items, refrigerators, stoves, couches, chairs, beds, okay? For the Cayuga facility, that came to a total of $7,129.92. Okay. The Clinton facility, going with the idea that we were not going to be in that building, that we were going to be in the firehouse, which is what was discussed at the last meeting, and I thought that was the direction we're going. I only made an offer on the kitchen equipment there because that's used by the health department also. Okay, so that would be oven, refrigerator, microwave, small appliances, stuff like that. But also I was told by Park County EMS that another thing we needed for our facility was shelving. So he has 5 shelves, large heavy metal shelves, and then 2 wire rack type shelves. I offered on those also, and that offer for everything in that building that we would want comes to $5,235. And basically I was kind of going on a 50% of and what I did was not his value on new stuff. I went online and priced these things, and then I did 50% of that.
Mark, on the shelving, does the sheriff's department have any shelving in that? I mean, or have you looked at that? Or?
I went through that building during mushroom hunt. I went by and the doors were hanging wide open, so I sent your deputies down there and said, hey, I don't think anything in there we'd want to use in a medical facility, even if we cleaned it up. There is some metal shelving in there, stuff like that. But this stuff is like ceramic coated. I mean, it's good, and we're not offering him a bunch of money for them. I mean, as far as that in this offer, I think all of the shelves come to $500 for 7 units, and these are heavy duty. And then another thing we were buying is the lockers for employees. There are 3-person lockers, and there's 4 of them. Offered him $500 for those. I valued them online. I don't remember what it is anymore, but they were more than that. They would have come in like $1,200 if we went to. There's a it's called Firehouse Furniture, or FirehouseFurnishings.com. I valued a lot of the stuff on there because they get a pretty good price, and their stuff's all herky. It's not made for.
You want to include those costs, and if you guys don't object to that larger amount that go into the council.
Right.
I'm just. You guys comments about it?
It comes to a total for these, for this stuff, $34,026.84. So that we did a.
Okay, that's with the ambulance supplies too, which is large.
Yes, that's the furnishings and ambulance supplies. That's these 3 lists that came in as property.
Okay.
So we advertised for 360. That should all fall into this. Okay.
I just make sure we list all of it when we go there, and so they know it's all included.
Right. I can take every one of these things and put them on one spreadsheet so that the council would have that. They can just run down the list and look at it. Okay.
So Mark, on the $21,000, did Julie or you or someone look at that stuff too? The medical.
Julie did. Julie was she took this list, which they gave us, which was like a 3-column list, and it was all that big spreadsheet that we've been getting over and over and over again. And then she added another column called.
Oh no, I understand that, but I mean, did she physically look at some of this stuff
and make sure it exists, like it's still sitting?
I'm saying, shelf? I'm buying 100 items, and I only get 72 items.
Right. Bottom, Bottom line, and this is, we're approving 21,000.
Yeah.
Bottom line is, this offers contingent on Vermillion County Commissioners and Council approval of funding, and that the quantities as listed are on this sheet.
Okay. So no one, so I mean, short answer is no one's actually went and inspected these items.
You know, there was an inventory done by his employees.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was getting at.
6 months ago that said there's 100 aspirin
Yeah.
sitting in a bottle here.
Okay.
Now, I bet they gave an aspirin out
Yeah.
between now and then.
Yeah.
And that's where this comes down to probably end of June,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say.
Just
is
a
where
question
we
if
go in
we-
there and we have to inventory everything.
The answer is yes,
To this
Julie did
list.
look at it, but the inventory will change, could change.
Yeah,
And
well, like the
those
big
all has
items, like the
changed.
big items you looked at personally,
Right,
the kitchen
right.
items,
I
the
went-
lockers,
right.
the shelving units, stuff like that.
Yep.
Okay.
You got all in units anyway, so it'd be short of something, it'd just be.
I was just making sure you
Right.
inspected it too, I mean, on your
Right.
offers, you know, you looked at everything, okay.
Right.
All
I
right.
just got a text from Guilfoyle. He says, sorry, Scott Craig did not have time. I do have verbal confirmation from BOW to move forward, and Fire Chiefs Chris Strom is also on the board, from the Board of Works, I guess, to move forward with that.
Yep.
And I just texted him back a monthly cost. He'll probably respond here in a little bit. I think I would like to have a letter exactly what that entails.
Yeah, that 1,500 is what I've been hearing for about a month
Yeah.
now, so
Yeah.
if it changes.
Right.
So,
Question, if we take the things from where Ileana is now, the inventory and the shelves, what are we doing with them? Where are they going if we don't stay in that facility?
the shelves, the inventory is Julie's taken to set up these ambulances. This is all stuff she needs. And the shelving would end up going into the Cayuga, probably in the basement or in the attached garage, depending on where she says it needs to be to store the stuff that she needs to store.
Would the inventory not go to Park County?
Well, yeah, to outfit
Medical
the
inventory,
ambulances.
that is. Yeah, because it's not all going to go in the ambulances, initially, anyway.
A lot of it will. A lot of it, she is saying she doesn't have enough to, like, take all her supplies and stock the ambulance. That's why she went through and picked these items. We're not buying his entire list.
I know, but, okay. So if we have one whatever left over, where's it going? That doesn't go in an
I would
ambulance?
say it's going to Cayuga, because that's the building we would own.
But this is medical inventory for the ambulances. Do we really want, my thought here is do we really want that separated, or should it go to Park County's inventory in what they have?
And here's the deal. Every time I come back, and I don't know, I'm not a medic, but let's say I use an ACE bandage, because I know that term, okay? I've used it now. I don't have one in my ambulance. Do I want to drive all the way to Park County and get one? No, I'm going to have a shelf that's got 100 ACE bandages on it. And then when I get to 50, I get a hold of Julie and say, hey, I need to restock this shelf. And that's her job, to make sure that there's always 100 there, or when they get to a certain level, restock. But there will be, at both facilities, a quick supply of these things. Now, as far as the refrigerated drugs and stuff like that, they got to find the refrigerator for it. So in Clinton, that's something they're going to have to work out.
One of the refrigerators are both the refrigerators on there? Because one of them
No.
belongs to the facility.
Only the only refrigerators we made an offer on are the stainless steel double door ones. Not any of those little white ones, because those belong to the hospital. There is a little white one in Cayuga, and I said, I wouldn't offer you $100 for that. It's a little 16 cubic foot just refrigerator. You buy them in Menards for
That's
$300.
all. I'm not going to get into vicious with it, but thank you.
So those amounts are going to be included in what we take to the council.
Yeah. I will try to, I said, I'm actually trying to put together a presentation for tomorrow today, but I will try either today or tomorrow to have a spreadsheet to you that has every cost listed out, just so they can see them.
Okay. The house also, the building inspection came back, and there's some minor things, in my opinion, as far as,
Before we get off that topic, are we effectively transferring this inventory to
Park County.
Park County then?
Right.
So the ownership will actually be Park County
Right.
for the medical supplies anyway?
Right, that's part of the agreement, is they supply that.
Right, but we're buying something, so we need to actually transfer then whatever we're buying to Park County also then.
Well, here's kind of the big picture of the way I see this, okay? we're gonna pay Park County $45,000 a month right now. That's the starting.
45.8.
Right. Okay, that's the start. If we give them $23,000 worth of stuff, we've gave them $23,000 worth of stuff. If we don't, they take it out of that 45, and it all in the end balances out. So do we need to have some type of a letter conveying this property then with a dollar amount? Probably.
Whether it has a dollar amount, but the commissioners own certain assets. Those assets are worth more than $1,000. We need to be able to actually legally transfer this to Park County if that's what we're gonna do. Unless John has a different mechanism to do this. But these are not, and these are consumables too. So how do we, they're not gonna exist after a year, 2 years, whatever, that inventory is gonna be gone.
None of these items are $1,000.
It's like building a building. If you want to build a building, you can say that I didn't spend $1,000 on that building anywhere. I bought one nail, I'm not buying, and then I'll buy another nail. Same thing with this. We bought a lot, it's over $1,000. It needs to be transferred appropriately. So, and if John says that we don't have to worry about it, so be it, but I believe that it's an asset that we bought, it's a consumable, we're going to be transferring it, we need to do that, legally transfer that to them with the understanding that's a consumable and we don't expect it back. Yes, no?
I mean, we can write it any way you want.
We don't need to do, if we don't need to do it, then so be it.
I mean, we probably should put something in there that they acknowledge that we're giving this to them or that we're transferring it, just so there's a record of what happens to it.
I think that it's appropriate, because if the agreement goes for 1 year and there's still stuff there, we shouldn't, I don't know, are we expecting it back? Are they going to have to keep dual inventories of things? I don't think we want to do that.
Well, if we need a letter, Let's move with a simple thing and make a letter and get it done. I mean, if that suffices, and
I
we
think
do it.
I think I would prefer that we transfer this inventory, lock, stock, and barrel, to at least the medical supplies, to Park County, and not expect a
John,
return
can you
on
draw
any of
something up?
that.
Yeah, I mean,
I just got confirmation from the mayor, it's $1,500 a month.
$15?
1,500.
Sold.
That's good news. I mean, really, this ambulance thing is to be at the very bottom at one time, not knowing tomorrow it's all going to fall through and it come out like this. It's really been remarkable.
And have we signed the lease agreement with Park County? Did that get done? That was a DocuSign, right? Okay, and we do have a signed contract with them now, right? Okay. So we should be on track.
should we just word it to say that we're turning over the consumables to them and we anticipate they'll maintain them at those levels?
Yeah, I don't think anything like the levels. I'd say we just.
Because they need more than that.
Yeah, they'll maintain it at least the level that's turned over to them, turn the same amount back, or?
No, that's a bulk thing there. That's
I think all we need is an acknowledgement that
Yeah.
we're giving them $21,000 worth of consumable. That's about
medical
it.
supplies.
Because that, in the end, from what she's saying she'll give us in November, December timeframe, that should be part of, this is the total cost of running an ambulance, and we want to capture that. When we spend money, we want to make sure that gets in there too, not just what they spend.
We'll put something together.
Anything else?
Oh, the house. You said that you still haven't got something to raise that house. I'm gonna go by and look at it myself.
Mark, I've got those numbers in a list. I can send you as soon as I get out of here.
Yeah, Jacobs Construction.
You've
right?
got Tony Jacobs is one, and then
I printed out the stuff that Brent supplied.
yeah, I was gonna say the ones that worked over at the annex, like Steve Dunham, Jeremy Fortner, just some local ones. I don't know how busy they are, but those are all pretty local.
One thing I do that we require people to have a workers' compensation policy. Some people have been coming around working for the county, and they don't have workers' comp. The moment something happens, they sue the employer, and the employer don't have it, then they sue the county. So whatever goes on, make sure they got workers' comp. That's just a standard.
That's all part of our lease agreement with them.
Yeah.
I know, but a lot of times we just hire someone.
Contract agreement, I mean.
A lot of times we just hire someone and do it. Yeah, sure, but that's got to be there. That's my.
That's
I mean,
already done.
Huh?
That's already out of the picture. We've already signed a contract that has all that language in it.
He's talking about if we get a contractor up there to adjust that garage.
Oh, on the garage, I thought you were talking about the
They have
ambulance.
things in place.
My
No, I'm
apologies. My
talking about,
apologies.
we hire people to do stuff, and I think it's important that anyone we hire, if they ain't got workman's compensation,
That's on the wrong
am I
side.
right, John?
Yes.
If they don't have workman's comp, something happens on them, first thing they sue the employer, and the employer don't happen, then they come after the when they're
Isn't
working.
that anybody who contracts to the county? Isn't that part of the thing? they
Yeah, but
have
I'm
to do?
saying, sometimes we hire people to do different things around here, and we don't go through that process, because it's not a large item. But it still puts us at risk. The house came back, the inspection report, did you all get it? I don't think there's any major thing there. I think that we just need to proceed on. All the work is done, I think, and it's a matter of taking possession. Did we already send the confirmation, and that's already in the budget, right? Did you pay that with the council? We did 150. Okay. The title work's being done now, so, okay. I think it'll turn out great. I think it'll be a great improvement to our county and make things a lot better. Next we have the veterans. I think we interviewed 4 or 5.
4.
And I'm ready today to make a recommendation or a vote on it. I mean, if you are.
I am if you guys are.
So, I think the one that I'm recommending David Parsons. What do you guys recommend? I don't know.
Yeah,
How you feel about it?
I think David Parsons would make an excellent candidate and choice for the veterans position.
I think his people skills were very friendly type person, you know, that I think would work good with people.
Yeah. So by agreement, we want to appoint David Parsons to the veterans position. And maybe one of us call him, or Brenda or somebody call him to let him know that he was the winner.
Right here.
The winner.
We'll just call him here before we leave because we got his number.
If he's got service, I know he said he's got bad service in
Yeah,
Clinton, so.
we can call him here. We'll call him when we're done. A couple different things. The copiers are here. Are the copiers still available? Because our church needs one. And if I'm just bringing out publicly, you said if the other don't take it, then it's going to be available to other nonprofits. So I don't know what happened with them.
The order in which we had discussed was that if there's a nonprofit and then then whoever after that. So nonprofits first and then second.
So has anybody got any of them yet?
I don't think we've not disposed of any that I know
Okay.
of.
Okay.
How many is there?
3 or
Like
4?
10, 3 or 4.
They're downstairs in the auditorium.
No, I'm bringing that for our church, you know, but I want to be very open with you all. That's what we need it
I
for our
think
church.
we should just assign one of us to administer that program, if you will.
Okay.
To dispose, we have to declare them surplus, or what do we have to do, John?
For which item?
The
Copiers.
The
Copiers.
copiers that we've turned out, that are
It
now
depends-
county owned.
It depends on the value. Do they have value still?
I'm not a copier person.
The value has been, I think, around $400 for any particular one at this point.
I mean, what we've done in the past is declared them to be surplus and then offered them for sale. I think the main pitfall you want to avoid is where you let an individual either take something for free or buy something, and then the public perceives that that person got a special deal,
Yeah.
some sort of insider deal that wasn't available to the public. So I think if you just declare that these are surplus, we don't need them. If they have value, try and sell them. If they don't have value, make it, first come, first
Or just
served. But
auction them all off. I don't care. I
just
mean,
want that public perception that an
Yeah.
employee got something special that wasn't available to anybody else.
What I'll do is
Okay,
I'll
deals.
try to get a value for each of the machines that we have.
But original decision we made was it would be open for next month or so to any of the, and no one ever responded, right? That I know of.
I don't have anybody's responded. no.
I haven't seen, no. But I think it'd be easy, Tim, if you, if the county, Facebook's probably the easiest outlet to put stuff out there, just like school done. I think if somebody would put that out there and say we have, and like Britton said, put one of us as the point person and say, nonprofits interested in these, please notify Tim, RJ, or Britton by county email, within the next 7 business days or something.
And then if not,
We're just gonna, dispose of.
Whatever you guys want to do is fine. I just know we need to deal with this. It's been sitting down there for quite a while.
If you want, I can take a couple pictures of them, and then if your church is interested, just put in a request that, hey, this church is interested in one of these, and any other nonprofit.
But I mean, what's the process? Are these going to be donated, give them away, or are they going to assess the value and then?
it's up to you guys.
Okay, you guys tell me what you guys want to do. It's fine with me.
Because if you remember, I think it was about a year or 2 ago, there were some shelves and an employee took these shelves that nobody wanted, and then there was this accusation that they were getting something that wasn't available to the general public.
I know, like Kylie mentioned on GovDeals, copiers, you can list them for $1 and no one buys them.
Yeah.
So I
That might be a
think
simplest route. Just put them all in there and get rid of them.
we could, but I'm just telling you, I don't think they ever sell. But if you want, I have no problem taking the lead, taking a picture of it, and saying the county commissioners have declared these surplus, and if you're a nonprofit agency, we're willing to give them away. Please contact me at this email in the auditor's office and submit your interest in them, and it's first come, first serve. So 4 people put in for it and get them, and they're gone.
You guys' decision.
I don't really think that's
Having a-
fine with me.
Tim, if you want to do that, I can do that. I can put them out online, and because I don't think there'll be a lot of interest in them personally, but
I would, whatever interests you, I'd still like to see nonprofits first and then.
I was just going to write up there that the commissioners are going to give
If you
these
get
for
more
free
than-
for nonprofit. Yeah, like nonprofits are free.
If you want, Larry Dulles can possibly give you, from Toshiba, and give you a value of what those machines are.
Okay.
He did a lot of.
I think we're making this a lot
Toshiba looked
complicated.
at 'em. In fact, I may already have a value to those machines at some point.
So-
If they have a value.
Yeah.
Are they going to be listed for sale, or are they going to be listed as far as someone come and get them and that one?
If we're wanting to let the public have an option at it for free, I think you just put them online and say these are free, and if you're interested, please send your email to RJ, Kylie, Brenda, whoever the point person is. That way there's a documentation of who's seen them available. And do it for free, like you said, for nonprofits. That way people, and then just schedule pickup and stuff. Since
I
we
don't
do-
When I really think about it, I don't want to be involved in that, because the moment I do something, someone will say I'm doing something not proper, so our church won't be interested.
Okay.
I've been through this too many times.
I mean,
I really have. I've been.
that's up to you. I mean,
accused of so many
we
things.
can list them on GovDeals. I'm just saying I don't know
Yeah.
that they'll sell. So if we want to offer them for free,
Okay.
I think we just turn it over to you and let you
You ramrod it, get it
dispose of
done.
them
Let us
appropriately
know.
for the
all right,
county, as may be
all right,
appropriate
I'll,
for the county.
I'll CC one of you guys. Is that okay?
Unless
And
you
the-
find that one's worth more than $1,000 for some reason.
Yeah. Okay.
If we have a value of more than 1,000, we have to do something
Okay.
different with that.
Sure. I'll keep you guys apprised.
One thing I would like to talk about today, and we've talked about it, it's been kicked down the road quite a while, but this funding from this grant money, I do have a resolution to it. You might like it, you might not, but I would say take the $50,000, divide it up among all the people who applied for it, and be done with it. Divide it up on a percentage, whatever percentage of, you take all the money, put it together, and you take their percentages out of that. And if it's 10%, it's 10% of the 50. And just resolve it all. I don't want to do it again. You can't be fair. You can't, it's hard to, at first we thought we had a large amount of money. And then we found out one had 50, so it automatically restricted what we was doing. So now we have all these people applying, and the only way to be fair is give them a certain percentage of that and move on. That's what I'm,
I don't
something,
think
I
there
want to get
was a fair
resolved.
way of doing it.
What?
I never
I'm
agreed
not-
with any of this anyway, so.
Yeah, I mean,
There's not going to be no fair way to do this.
I don't think it's fair. I mean, well, I don't think there was ever a fair way when you set up the application, because one applicant wanted 180,000, one wanted
Yeah.
50, one wanted 12. I would still prefer to go through and it may upset people, but pick the projects, whether it's 1 or 2, and say these are the ones we're funding, and I'm justifying, or the Board of Commissioners are justifying these projects for these reasons. Because I don't know even one of them. Say you divide them up $5,000 a piece, like that one.
No, I didn't say $5,000 a piece, according to their percentage of what they applied for.
Okay, so like the one applied for
It's a
180.
weighted average.
They'd have a larger amount.
Huh?
What?
How many?
The term would be a pro rata.
Pro rata. You know,
But-
what
but like-
percentage that is.
But I'm saying if one applied for 180 and one only applied for 12, those are two big different chunks. I would prefer
How
to
many
just,
projects were there?
was there 9, 7? I don't know. There was a few, but there. I
I'm
mean,
just saying, I want to get this resolved and moved on, and I've been harassed almost by this situation. and
I would just
I'm
prefer
tired
to
of
sit
hearing about
down and, because I can tell you the couple projects I'm ready to like support. I just think doing a dividing like that's going to be tough. Unless you just go through and say, we got 50,000 and we're just going to divide it evenly.
Whatever happens here, I want it to be resolved and not do it again. I'm not going to it again. I'm just not going to do it.
I still would rather
That's fine.
fund the projects
Come up with
individually.
I'll tell you what, the next meeting, each one of us need to come up with a remedy, and we'll vote on that remedy, and we'll make a
Well,
decision.
It
about how
takes
we'll do
it takes a
I mean,
majority. I mean, well, it takes majorities. I don't think Britain's in favor of doing.
I'm not in favor of any of it.
Yeah, so I think it's just mainly between me and you.
Well, I
You
mean,
two to
you know what I'm
decide.
saying? You
I
come
think
up
the
with your
money needs
recommendation,
to
I'll
go,
come next time, we'll
quite frankly, the
do
money
something
still
about it.
needs to go to the ambulance service, and we're spending enough money there that we shouldn't be doing this, but.
Yeah, we've
I
already
still
opened that
say
door.
that.
We already made a commitment, and we're gonna
Well-
honor it, and we're gonna move on.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Well, that's where I'm at. I can tell you the 2 or 3 I'll fund it. If you want them in an email, I'll send them to you. Which ones I'd like to support and why.
If you're gonna do it, I think RJ's solution is pick 1 or 2, and because you divide it up pro rata, you're looking at.
I'm just
Very
offering
minimal
something to make
dollars
this
per
project
sign.
move forward.
Well, and the other thing is you don't have to spend the whole 50 either. If we look at 7 projects and I say there's only 2 fundamentally I can support for these reasons, it may be economic development reason, it may be whatever reason. Option B, maybe we may only spend 30,000 of the 50.
And I'm not saying I'm against that. I'm saying that it's time that we resolve this and move on. And
I'll send you my recommendation for my projects by next
Yeah.
meeting. And
Yeah, let's make
All
a
right.
recommendation next time. We'll bring it to vote and move on.
sounds good.
Just, we do have to move on this. This
Sounds
is
good.
this has been-
Sounds good.
But like I said, originally, we thought we had X, and we had plenty of room to, and then that kind of went a different direction.
All right.
Okay.
Ready to go work lunch.
Any comments from the crowd?
Hi. Sorry, Ms. Logan. John, in closing real quick, a health board member did send me a note before the meeting today that they're moving to Terre Haute. Do they have to live in the county to serve on the health board? I was gonna ask you that question.
I think so.
Okay.
I think that's the
They assume they're gonna have to resign, but I told them I would ask you.
Because I think that was when Dr. Cloyd moved to Park County. That
Okay.
was what
Yeah,
they
it did.
were
It happened.
designing.
So it is? Okay.
Yeah.
So Micah Williams is
Which
the
one is it?
Micah Williams.
He's at South Vermillion.
Yep. Said he bought a house in Terre Haute. He assumed he had to resign, but he wanted to double check before he tendered it. So, just keep that in mind as
Sell
a.
here about 30 to 60 days.
There you go.
I shouldn't have said that in public meeting, right?
All right.
Anybody else got anything to say?
Motion to adjourn.
Second the motion?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good meeting.
All right, Kylie, what